What up, girl? What you up to? Look at you in that sush.
Girl, I ran out of time to eat, so here we are.
Tell me all about the sush sitch.
Well, Sushi Tuesday in my house.
Mmm. Wait, hold on a second. We're dish camming this. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Live on the scene. That sushi looks ridiculous. Like, there's all kinds of fixins, toppings.
Mm-hmm. It's Florida sushi, girl. You got to get into it. How's Ohio? What is the temperature in Ohio right now? It's like a balmy 84 here.
Oh my girl, of course you had to lead with that. It's like 35 and snowing. I'm not kidding. It is actually snowing today.
Shut up. Oh my God. All right. Give me a look of your look. Give me your snow queen look.
This is very Christmas, don't you think? Like with the gold and the oh yeah, da da.
Yeah, you like a glittery poinsettia.
And that's showbiz, honey. And that's showbiz. I knew we were going to be talking about finances tonight, so I wanted to wear something that fit the mood. So all the glitters I put on every glittery thing that I had. And this is actually in a number that this is a costume from a number that I normally do in my repertoire. So it's like a nice, sensible hourglass gown split up to the thigh.
Very sensible.
Got it on Etsy from some costumer I don't remember. So thanks,
Did
Mr. Girlfriend.
you didn't wear it to work today then?
I mean, I did, but I didn't want to, draw too much attention to it.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
I mean, if you count this as work, then yes, absolutely, I did wear it to work today.
Girl, I love that for us.
And don't we, though?
I love this. So let's talk about fiscal responsibility in relationships, finances in relationships, and Sushi Tuesday. And is it fiscally conservative? Get in the chat!
I don't know if sushi is fiscally conservative, but it's certainly doing me justice.
Fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Anyways.
Right, just like everyone's libertarian dad.
Yes. Oh my God, girl. How's your week going?
It's okay. It's okay. Things are a little busy, but we're going to Louisville this weekend for, just a couple days to hang out. And it's supposed to be like 80 over in Louisville, so it's going to be very jarring. I'm going to pack some shorts.
80?
You know how it goes. Yeah, the high is 80.
You know, girl, I have so many interesting memories in Louisville, including cycling the Bourbon Trail. And I'm here to tell you, don't cycle it.
That sounds very ambitious.
It was terrible. The word you're looking for is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to
terrible.
solve the puzzle.
Are you going to do the Bourbon Trail?
No, I don't think so. I think we're just going to keep it pretty chill. We're going to try to, like, hit a couple gay bars, go out to dinner, and just kind of, like, F around. You know what I mean? Like, keep it caged.
I know. Louisville's so close.
It's only 3 hours away. It's not bad at all.
That is really nice.
We're going to go to the Kentucky Derby Museum, though. That'll be fun.
Really?
Guess what I'm going to wear?
Cool.
Just kidding. I'm not going to wear this. So, girl,
it is a very sensible headdress.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a reasonable, like, 7 inches tall, I want to say.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So, girl, while we're talking about finances and relationships, did you hear about this whole Disney mess down in Florida?
Oh my God, no.
Okay.
What's going on?
So, Ron DeSantis.
Everybody's least favorite uncle.
Everyone's least favorite uncle. Ron DeSantis, in a special legislative committee meeting, decided to introduce a bill that would remove Disney World's status as a special district, specifically because their CEO said that they were going to they were not going to enforce Don't Say Gay. So he's like going after them. Now, first of all, I don't completely understand why Disney World has a status as a special district, so like they don't have to follow all the rules of the rest of the state, which is super weird. So we can just set that aside because I'm not even sure they should have that status anyway. That sounds a little sketch to me. But the fact that he's going after them specifically because they said that they were not going to enforce this law, this terrible law, it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy down there, girl.
Girl, it is crazy. But you know, it's interesting because Disney is like by far the number one employer in the state. And they have a deep history inextricably intertwined with the state of Florida, like their development and what they did for the city of Orlando and kind of, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
a lot of the special dispensations, right, came at a time historically and certainly of incredibly xenophobic and sexist and racist implications, I'm sure that I don't know about. Actually, the book I'm reading on the history of Florida, which I'll be reading till the day I die, because my best friend Ben Gaetanos let me borrow it. It's going to take me 8 years to read. There's a whole Disney chapter about the development of Disney and how that worked with the state government here.
Oh, well, I'm sure it is a very long and storied history. Like,
and you know I'm going to read it, girl, and make no friends in Florida. So insane. I was like, I knew DeSantis was calling a special session, but I was like, what for?
That was why.
What hullabaloo. Oh my God, what a mess.
I just heard about it on the radio on the way here.
Oh, on the way here to the virtual show.
On the way here, and I was like, we have to talk about it on the dish.
Girl, I know this is off topic, but I find like this part of the body to be like so sensual. And I love the way that cut frames your shoulders. It's like, yes, it's just so like peekaboo. Mm-hmm. It's something about the armpit that I'm just like, it's like a little crease, a little dirty, nasty crease, and you don't know what's under there. You know what I mean? I love it.
I believe it's pronounced crevasse.
Oh, girl, speaking of finances, how much is a fast pass to Disney World?
Oh my God, girl, I've been to Disney World since I was like 8. And I know it's sort of an enclave for the gays.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that, but I don't know, like, I need to have an exclusively adult experience at Disney World, or else I don't know if I'm interested in going. I don't know if I can be bothered to be around the children for that long, you know?
So you need like gay days.
Yeah. Gay days, but like, but they don't have children there.
I was about to say there's kids, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
So you need an adults-only Disney experience.
To quote the once and forever, well, she's not dead. To quote the amazing Trixie Mattel, I did not pick drag to relate to the children. And I feel like that really describes my energy as well. Just replace drag with burlesque, and then here we are.
I love that. So, girl, we picked a sticky wicket of a subject tonight.
We sure did.
It is not light. Talking about finances is really difficult. So let's start with how we both were socialized to talk about finances.
Can we just talk about how we were both socialized to use the term sticky wicket also?
It's a bit of a sticky wicket.
Oh, no.
Penny's going to knock over my ring light because she's the worst. So I just want to point out she's fired. And it's been a really good run, but...
She's off the technical team for the dish.
She is. Hope you like my mouth. Nah. Loaf, you're such a mess. Anyways.
So Brooke, I'm at a quandary. I'm at a sticky wicket, which is... So here's the thing. If you have conversations with your partner about finances, that is a way for you to assess expectations, get them closer together, share more things, more experiences, more perspectives in a relationship. But, like, isn't it just easier to keep everything separate? Isn't it just easier to, like, have his and hers china? Like, we don't have to be mixing the patterns.
Yeah, that's true. It is embarrassing to mix patterns. Like, what are you supposed to do?
We only have one tureen.
Get out.
This episode is just going to be 30 minutes of us being fully unapproachable.
You know, I think it is interesting because I think with money, there's just so much baggage of like shame, and there's just so much more you unpack besides a number in a bank account or lack thereof.
Oh yeah, fear, insecurity, am I good enough?
Right.
It's kind of like it's a sticky wicket because I was gonna say minefield. Like, if you touch a certain thing, it's gonna explode all of these insecurities.
Well, yeah, like I think like I have student loans, and you know I am very open about having student loans, and there's not these things. But then I feel very lucky that student loans are. I mean, I have insane debt for student loans, but it's a very, for lack of a better word, headline thing. Like everyone in my generation has student loans. So it's not this like whole thing. If you have debt from something else, there's like even more shame around that. Like my debt is in the headlines every week.
Yes.
My debt is like, Joe Biden is talking about my debt. Do you know what I mean? But if you have debt from something else, there's like a lot more shame attached to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, and politically, ideologically, financially, there's so little room for making mistakes in your past. So it's like, heaven forbid you went bankrupt at some point in your life because you, I don't know, took a risk and started a business, right? And that's, oh, well, I was about to say it's not like we're all doing background checks on each other, but let's talk about that, girl. You do background checks on potential partners.
Here's what I will say. There is no harm in doing a public record search.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you got to like go full PI, but especially I will say in the world where we do less social vetting, and I'm not against online dating. I'm team online dating.
You know how I feel about that.
Like, love it. And I'm for it always. But the miss of online dating, which I do want someone to invent. So if you're out there with a startup, let's start about it. Is the social vetting process. Because I know that like sometimes the apps will say like, oh, you have 2 mutual connections on Facebook, right? But it really is the social vetting we got, especially from gay bars, was stay away from her, honey. She's a bitch. Like, she's a tramp. She's going to use you for your money and leave, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah. We
had social vetting and good and bad, right? So a lesbian would transition as a trans man and be kicked out of the lesbian bar. It's not great.
Yeah, so just public ostracizing, basically. Like you're on the gay blacklist, right? Like nobody mess with them, which is sad.
Right. So because we don't have that, we have predators that, again, like financial predators and emotional predators and abusers that, you know, social vetting isn't there. So that's why I say public record search, like just also know the criminal justice system is incredibly flawed. If they have a felony conviction, you can ask them about it. But like, if they have like gone into bankruptcy multiple times or something like that, that is something you could learn earlier rather than later. Yeah. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't be with them. It's just about understanding and knowing about it.
I took a personal finance class in high school, and I was the nerd that thought that I was actually going to learn about personal finances, because these are the things that, depending on what kind of guidance you get from your family or whether that's valued. I mean, there are so many socioeconomic barriers to this about understanding how to do things that are not taught in school, like doing taxes, planning for your future, planning for retirement. Like, we're all Googling that, trying to figure that out, right? I took a personal finance class and I wanted to know how to make a budget, how to, it just seemed so insurmountable to me when I was young. Like, how am I going to get out there, make it on my own? And also I was a very anxious child. So I was thinking about all these things and like the fear of failure. Yeah. It turns out this class was sort of an elective that a lot of, I'll say, troubled students ended up in. And so it was still really great information for all of us to have, but the level of engagement was very different among different people in the class. And also, my teacher's pet ass was, like, raising my hand, like, actually doing my homework, like, answering questions, because that was...
Oh, little baby.
Yeah, so also, it did not do well for me as far as being a target for bullying, so that's a whole nother separate aspect to this tale. But I did learn some interesting things about, okay, well, you have to kind of know how much you're bringing in versus how much you're spending so that you can have enough disposable income to enjoy your life. Just very basic things like that, you know?
Well, it really, but, you know, coming back to kind of how we were raised, I was actually talking with a friend of mine, and he's straight, so very rare. Tune in, dish. All right, I have a straight, one straight friend.
Some of my best friends are straight.
We'll call him Philip for the story. And Philip is married to Caitlin. And Philip and Caitlin had such vastly different childhoods. And one of them is obsessed with brands, obsessed with status cars, and the other one shops at TJ Maxx. Which one was raised in poverty? Who's your guess?
The
one who...
The labels, the status cars.
Exactly. So he is like, I need a BMW, and I don't care if it's a used BMW, but I'd like a new BMW, blah, blah. And she's like, what is your problem? Because she was raised by people who were like, no, let's save money and we'll make a deal and we'll get this and blah, blah, blah. Whereas he could never get those things, and now he wants them, and he thinks there's something to them. So even the commercialization of luxury items and the obsession with luxury items in our culture comes from this deep-rooted poverty shame for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, and by the way, it's not always the same. Sometimes if you're raised in with no money, you still don't care and you still make deals. I have friends like that who are just like, nope, I went to the Goodwill as a kid, I got the best clothes ever, and I still do it. And that's, you know what I mean? So it all depends. But it's just really fascinating because he's like, my wife doesn't give a shit about labels.
Yeah.
And she could afford them before she met.
You know, what's interesting about this episode is that it's really not about money at all, right? It's about... Hot takes on the dish tonight! It's not really about money. It's about personal value systems. It's about what's the meaning of life for you, for a potential partner. And how important are values around money and finances, depending on... This is just random thought that popped into my head. Depending on what you see as the future with this person that you are seeing. Is this a short-term thing? Is this a long-term thing? How do the questions that you want to ask that person about how they approach money and finances, how does that change depending on the potential futures that you see for that relationship?
Yeah, and I think, you know, on top of that, how are you going to have a communication around that financial relationship that isn't fraught, right? Because those are what the continuing fights are about.
Mm-hmm.
So if your situation changes, do you want to share that? No, because we put so much value in money in our culture. And money is survival. I hate that money isn't everything. Fuck you. If you don't have money, it is. No, yeah. I'm not. I hate that. I hate like, well, money can't solve all your problems. I can solve a lot of them. I can solve a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, like,
how far on Maslow's hierarchy of needs are you? Because money,
right?
Like money, I think it was ContraPoints on one of her interviews that I was watching. I was gonna say not too long ago, but I feel like I was watching this a while ago, but it stuck with me, so I still think about it. She said when she was getting further in her YouTube career, she was like, I became more financially stable over time, and the thing that I didn't expect was money frees you from anxiety. So she's like, I don't have to worry about living hand to mouth because if my car breaks, I don't worry about reshuffling all of my expenses to make sure that I can fix my car.
Right.
I don't have to worry about whether my debt is going to totally push me under. You know, she's like, it just, the stress that I was carrying around day to day was alleviated so much by just having a little bit more income. And so I agree with you that it's like, yeah, money doesn't make you happy, but it does get you to a certain point where you don't have to constantly be worrying about survival.
Right. And kind of discussing, I think, to your point, you know, separate or together or whatever. Mm-hmm. I have a story about a partnership, plot twist, that I'm not in anymore. And they assumed they could use my bonus for something that was a joint investment, but was not discussed.
Yeah, that's quite an assumption.
So they had earmarked it because they were like, well, I can't afford this, so you will.
Uh-huh.
And never talked about it. Where at this point, everything was 50-50. And it was like, wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
But again, it was something where I'm like, oh, we have to learn each other's financial languages.
Yeah.
Because in their minds, they're like, no, it's all one big pot. Right?
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
We're not learning it.
So my culture is TJ Maxx. I grew up fully TJ Maxx. Mm-hmm. And so I would be mortified rather than to assume, like, I am like, here's my little, here's my I keep everything separate just because I'm so worried about, I'm also Midwestern and I'm constantly worried about being in the way. That's what I talk about with my therapist, is like the fear of being in the way. I'm serious. Like, I used to be in malls, and you know that scene in Inception where all of the projections notice the intruder and like try to physically eject them from the dream? That's what I imagine when I'm in public spaces. That's my crowd anxiety. Like, everyone's head is just going to notice that I don't belong there, and they're going to, like, physically eject me from the space. Anyway, that's just a brief little... It's just a brief little peek into Eileen's
maybe
journal.
Like the people who wrote Inception have social anxiety.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because when I saw that, I was like, this feels very familiar. Like, I'm in the picture and I don't like it. Kind of feel.
Right. You're like, you turn up.
Yeah. But so I have that fear of being in the way. That's one of the things that is a common theme for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows up for me. One of the ways that shows up for me is like, I'm just gonna take care of me. I'm gonna be independent. If anyone tries to be like, hey, let me help you, I'm like, no, I got it. I can take care of this.
Right.
And it's not, I know for some people that's like, I don't want to owe anyone any favors because of having been taken advantage of, or having memories of people having betrayed trust, so they don't want to open up those lines of trust. I don't think it's that for me so much. It's just that if I allow myself to accept help from others, then it means that I can't do it. And it's like a sort of personal failure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm defective. That's where my head goes. Girl, this dish is getting so therapeutic.
Girl, we love that. I'm dressed like a creepy psychiatrist from like a James Bond movie in the 80s, so that really works out. I'm like, tell me about your problems.
And I look like someone who should be in therapy. So that works out really well.
Plot twist, we all should be in therapy.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love that.
Doesn't this outfit just say I'm fine?
This outfit says, how are you?
Oh yeah, I like the slow pan in too. Like, how are you? That's what that is.
I love when people ask me, I'm like, so how is it going? I'm like, it's fine.
How much time you got, Carol?
What gave it away? No, I think that's it is interesting because it's like, you know, if you don't have the conversations, and I feel like, oh my God, this is a crazy story. So I was dating this person, and they bombarded me by showing me engagement rings without talking to me about it, which Eileen knows the story.
Yeah.
And scared the bejesus out of me because I was not ready for that conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons I wasn't ready, and I had a panic attack, which I didn't know what a panic attack was at that point because I hadn't had one. It was my first one. I feel like I did pretty good. I got like late 20s.
Baby's first panic attack. Yeah.
Oh my God, I need an ornament. I need a Christmas ornament.
You do, yeah.
I know exactly where it was. It was on the side of the road on Polaris before you enter 670.
Oh my God.
Always have a spot by the Charlie's like steak place.
In a car? You had your first panic attack?
Yes,
in a
I was
car?
driving.
Oh my God.
So I thought I was having a heart attack because, and I quote, this person was like, I was like, hey, we haven't even talked about finances. And they're like, oh no, you don't talk about finances till after you're married.
So we need to talk about order of operations is what we really
Right.
need
I was
to
like, we
talk
actually don't need to talk about finances right now because I'm not, marriage isn't happening.
because apparently we have bigger fish to fry. So let's lean into that conversation.
Yeah. So it was really, I was like, oh, that's a panic attack.
That's what that is.
But that's what that is.
I've heard such great things about them. Never had one myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was like a really interesting conversation, you know, where I was like, oh, okay, this is where we're at. And, you know, from their parents and knowing their family, like you got married at 20. I mean, we weren't 20, but like their parents married young
Mm-hmm.
and they both had nothing. So it wasn't a discussion.
Yeah.
But as people partner later and later in life, you have things and you have to have that discussion. And it's not all good things. Sometimes it's just dead. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? It just gets more, your financial snapshot gets more complicated as you get older. God, I sound like an accountant. We should have a guest CPA on if we ever do this for Deep Dish.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, no one's going to watch.
No, that's what I was just worried about. Like, we need to dive deep into that millennial Gen Xer audience.
Yes.
Whom we
Let's
love.
do, you know what we'll do? We'll do a penny cleanse. Hello. What you do, you fat girl?
Cleansing penny footage on the dish cam.
Yes.
Look at that cinnamon bun.
Cinnamon girl.
She's not even paying attention. She's playing hard to get.
Oh, hi, baby.
She's coming around on it. Oh, you have back pain? What's going on? I saw a little bit of a limp.
Fat girl. We limp now sometimes.
We limp now.
Dear listeners, dear readers, like for Ask Abby, Penny is turning 10 in 2 weeks. We are accepting donations of almost empty peanut butter jars.
She loves them at that perfect, like, you know, you gotta work for it. Like it
Well,
can't be too easy. You gotta really get in there.
She is a dedicated loaf. Oh, I lost my light. Hold on. She's a dedicated loaf.
But she's still a
She
great
really
girl.
needs you to show up. Well, good. I'll just leave it.
Mm-hmm.
If we lost it because of loaf. She's also accepting Visa gift cards anytime at all. She prefers them over cash. Because she does need a new ball because the lawnmower ran over her ball. So it's sad. Cash is king, guys. So that's the Penny voice. So turning 10, pretty old.
I prefer long time options. I just refinanced my I just got a second mortgage on my boat.
On my crate.
On my crate, yeah.
No, pretty good.
Should we have a birthday episode for Penny?
Oh my God! Come in the chat. We absolutely should. This poor dog.
She needs to pick the next topic.
It's gonna be peanut butter.
Okay,
It's just peanut butter.
It's a tasty snack.
She's in a pretty significant romantic relationship with her dog sitter, who's a man who's married. So we could talk about dating married people.
She hates men normally.
No, she loves men.
What?
Yeah, no, she doesn't like men in hats.
She's complicated, which
same.
No, I was like, what Penny are we talking about? I never remembered her liking
Here's the
men.
thing. Here's the problem with Penny in Ohio. There are a lot of men in cowboy hats, and it was a very confusing time for Loaf because she hates hats.
Oh, yeah.
Any hat. Not your headdress.
No,
obviously.
I was going to say she likes me in a hat, but that's because I'm
Miss Eileen.
Because I'm this. Oh, that's a great thumbnail.
Because I'm doing fine.
Very, very anti-name. Like, what do you want from me? I tried anal, you know.
Oh my God, yes.
Girl.
You're like Gypsy Rose's cousin Midge. If you don't know what we're talking about with Cousin Midge, you should definitely tune into Cover Dish, Deep Dish that we did last Thursday. I think we talked about Cousin Midge on that episode.
We did. Girl, are we going to do a deep dish once a month? We're thinking about doing a deep dish.
I don't know.
Oh, am I allowed to give it away? We're thinking about doing once a month on a Thursday, later on for longer.
You keep us posted. Let us know what you want in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe we are at time. Can you?
No, we're not.
We absolutely are.
Well,
in this economy?
In this economy, who has the time? I feel like time flies when you're looking fabulous. Like, do we
time?
We're dear viewers, we're too busy. We're too booked, blessed, and busy to worry about things like schedules, itineraries, scripts. We don't fucks with them. We haven't fucked with them in 60 weeks or however many of these we've been doing. But
59, right? 58?
Yeah, 57 or 8. It's not in front of me, so honestly, I don't even know anymore. I lost track.
Well, for the 60th episode, we'll celebrate Loaf's 10th birthday. That'll be fitting.
Oh, we need to. So
yeah, she's a little low.
Let me leave you with this, dishers. I don't like that. We'll workshop that. Yeah. People who watch The Dish, our loyal viewers, we want to hear from you. So, like, we want to know what you want us to talk about. We want us to know what we want to hear what your hopes, dreams, and desires are. So, let us know. It doesn't have to be in a comment. You could just drop us a line, call us, say hello. Let us know what you like, what you want to see.
Follow us on the gram.
More of. And, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch all of our reruns. And with that, I guess it's time. Sadly. This is my least favorite time of the night, Brooke.
To bid you adieu.
Yeah, we gotta leave you until next week. See you next time for the next Cover Dish.